Now, in the next part, we'll try to write the radical expressions into rational exponents. Then we will try to simplify it. Okay? Ready? Now, you can place in your chat boxes this time because you could make a square root sign or the caret. For letter A, write in a rational expression. Square root of 10 cubed. How do we write it in rational exponents? Let's see in the chat box. 10 cubed. Square root of 10 cubed. Let me start. That can be written as, okay, you write the radicand here. The exponent with it is the numerator. The index is the denominator. So over 2. That's 10 to the power of 3/2. Very good, Syra. Next, letter B. Can you write it in rational exponent? Fourth root of 64. Fourth root of 64. Very good, Ali and Syra. 64 to the power of 1/4. The exponent is, there's no exponent, so it's 1. The index is 4, so the denominator is 4. Next, letter C, 256, the fourth root of 256. Very good. I see Ali, Syra, and Jared. 256 to the power of 1/4. How about the last? The fourth power of the fifth root of 3. Very good. That's 3 to the power of 4/5. The power is the numerator. The index is our denominator. Now, let me help you in how to simplify it. Ready? How to simplify. Let me go back to the radical expression. 10 cubed. Remember what is the index here? 2. So how can we simplify this? If you're only asked to rewrite, this is the answer. But let's try to simplify. Let's divide the exponent. 3 divided by 2. So that's 1, right? So 1 exponent for 10 outside. It goes outside. But there's a remainder of 1. So the remainder will stay inside. It's 1 inside, 1 outside. So this is now the answer. Or you can write it as 10 square root of 10. Now, ma'am, can I simplify square root of 10? Is there a number that when you multiply it by itself, the answer is 10? Or the factor? There's none, right? So this is now the answer. Next, 64, the fourth root of 64. Let's find a number that when we multiply it by itself, the answer is 64. Remember, 4 times 4. No. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay. 64 can be written as 2, 4, 6, 8. 2. 8 times 8. So pwede siya 4 times 4. Or that can be written as 4 to the power of 4. Because 4 times 4, even pwede, 16. Sorry. 64 can be written as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 4, 8, 16. 64 can be written as 16 times 4. Remember, 16 is equivalent to 2 to the power of 4. 2 to the power of 4 times 4. Now, here, let's start first with 2. 4 divided by 4, the answer is 1. So we place 2 to the power of 1 outside. How about 4? You could not simplify it anymore. So it's left inside, like that. So any questions? Now let's go to the product rule. I told you it's quite challenging this time. Now, the product rule of the radicals says that if they have the same index, example, if they have the same index, then we can simply multiply the radicand. But if they don't have the same index, you could not multiply the same radicand, okay? Example, same index, multiply the radicand. Square root of 15. Same index, you multiply the radicand. That is, copy the radicand. 2 times 5 is 10 x, y. Next, 7 times 7, same radicand, square root of 49. But we can simplify that. The answer is 7. Very good. The last, same index, we can multiply them. Distribute. That's square root of 5x plus 5y. About the next one. Now, again, as long as they have the same index, you can multiply them. Okay. Try doing this one. Let's simplify each radical. How can we simplify that radical? Think of a number that is a factor of 40 and with a cube root. Example, I told you we just start the small ones, like 2 cube. What's 2 cube? 2 times 2 times 2, 8. 3 cube. What's 3 cube? 27. 4 cube. What's 4 cube? 4 times 4 is 16 times 4, 64. Okay. Since this is a cube root, think of a number that's a factor of 40 that is a perfect cube. We call this perfect cube. So we have 8. So we can write 40 as 8 times 5. Now, what's the cube root of 8? The cube root of 8 is 2. So we place 2 outside. What's the cube root of 5? 5 has no cube root. So we just let it stay inside. So the answer will be 2 cube root of 5. The next one. Okay. What number? Oh, you look at the index. 2, right? The index is 2. How can we write 200 as a factor, with 2 factors, and 1 factor is a perfect square? in the chat box. What can be the factors of 200, where one factor is a perfect square? You start listing. Okay, very good, Ali. 100. You can write 200 as 100 times 2. X squared y cubed. Now, what's the square root of 100? In the chat box. Okay, tell me what's the square root of 100? 10, very good. So place 10 outside. How about 2, ma'am? What's the square root of 2? There's no square root of 2. So we place it inside. Next. 2, there's 2 here, right? 2 divided by 2. Let's start with x. We have 1. No remainder. Let's go to y. 3 divided by 2. The answer is 1 for y, but remainder 1. The remainder will be inside. So the answer is 10xy square root of 2y. Let me check first. Okay, let's have the next one. Ready? Now, fourth root. How do we write 112 as a factor with a fourth root? Sige, in the chat box. Well, I'll start writing 2 to the 4. 2, 4, 8, 16. 3 to the 4. What are the factors of 112? 81. Yun na mula pa sa 112. It's between 2 or 4 or nothing. We can write 112 as 16 times 7. And 16 is a perfect fourth power. So we can write this as 16 times 7 times x to the power of 5. Now, what's the fourth root of 16? The fourth root of 16 is 2. So you place it outside. What's the fourth root of 7? There's no fourth root of 7, so it stays inside. Next, for the variable, let's divide. 5 divided by 4. The answer is 1. Remainder 1. So the final answer is 2x fourth root of 7x. That's it. The last one. Same index. We can write them as 1. Then multiply the first radicand by the second radicand. With a sum and difference, the answer is square of the first minus square of the second. So we have the fifth root of 4x squared minus 1. 4 has no fifth root. 2 cannot be divided by the fifth root, and also negative 1. So this is now the final answer. Any questions? I think you need to review more of this. Yes, friends.
What if it's not the same index, ma'am?
What if it's not the same index? You could not multiply it right away. I'll discuss it next week on Tuesday on how to do it.
Okay.
So again, you can only multiply the same index. Same with the quotient. You can only divide this quotient of the same index. For example, how do we do this? Ano siya? Kung sa numerator pagpadulong ang answer, okay? Kung sa denominator pagpadulong. So for example, let's start with the variable. 2 divided by 3 cannot be. So, ibilin sa sulod. Stay inside. Cannot be. Next, denominator. Cube root of 27. What's the cube root of 27? In the chat box. Ready? What's the cube root of 27? Very good. It's 3, Jared. Actually, you know, one way is to start memorizing the cube root. You just memorize the basic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 3, but it's in the denominator. So we also write it in the denominator. Ma'am, kinsinabilin sa taas, si 1. Or we can write it this way, or another is cube root of a squared over 3. Si 3 lang nakagawas. That's the answer. The next one. Okay. 56. For sure, 56, but 2. Again, we write again. 2 cube is 8. 3 cube is 27. 4 cube is 64. 56 can be a factor of 8 times 7. So place 7 at the bottom. 7x squared. But let me show you an easier way to do it. You do first the one inside. 56 divided by 7. 8, right? X to the 5th divided by x squared. X cubed. Subtract the exponents. So it's no easier. Cube root of 8 is 2. For x, 3 divided by 3. The answer is, place outside, x. So the answer is, I'm sorry for that, is 2x. Any questions? Feel free to raise your hand. How about this one? Okay. Here, the same index, so we can write them as 1. Let's simplify first the one inside. 72 divided by 2 is 36. X to the 5th divided by x. Subtract the exponents. X to the power of 4. Let us now simplify. Square root of 36 is 6. There's 2 here outside, right? So x to the 4th divided by 2 for the exponents, x squared. No remainder, so everyone stays outside. The last one, here, same index. So you can write them as 1. If it's not the same, then you could not write them as 1. Let's simplify first, the one inside. 32 divided by 2 is 16. M to the 10th power divided by m. That's m to the 9th power. Oops, there must be 3 outside. Now, let us start finding the cube root. What's the cube root of 16? Let me write again. 2 cubed is 8. 3 cubed is 27. There's no cube root of 16. But I can write 16 as 8 times 2. M to the 9th, copy. So cube root of 8 is 2. There's a cube root. It will go outside of the radical sign. 2. Cube root of 2, there's none. So it will stay inside. Next, for the one with a variable, you divide the exponents. 9 divided by 3. The answer is 3. So you place m cubed. So this is now the answer. 2 to the m cubed, cube root of 2. Any questions? Now, let's have the simplified form. How do you know that the radical is in simplified form? The first one, you know it's in simplified form if the radicand has no perfect nth power. Example, square root of 2 is the one left. There's no square root of 2, so it's already the final answer. But for example, the one inside is still square root of 4. There's a square root of 4, so it should be 2. But for example, square root of 3, there's no square root of 3, so it's already simplified. Next, it's simplified when there are no fractions appearing in the radicand. For example, if it's like this, you simplify it to a whole number. The next one, it's in simplified form if there's no radical sign in the denominator. How to rationalize it? You multiply it by the same number. I'll talk more on this next week in the multiplication of radicals. And the last one is the order, or it's now already simplified. Example, 2 to the power of 2 over 6. Well, you can write it as this way, but the exponent can still be simplified to 2 to the 1/3. So the simplest form is cube root of 2. That's how we do it. I'll talk more on this one, kadaghan na kayo, next time on Tuesday with the multiplication of radicals. Now, do you have any questions?